Hello, I'm Suzanne Sherman. Living a lifestyle of self-reliance used to be the norm. Now it is considered a lost art. Let me help you learn the ways of days gone by when food was appreciated and not wasted. Goods were repurposed and not discarded. So much of what we eat, use, and wear today is purchased at a store or through an online retailer, and the cost of this convenience is the lack of understanding for the effort and the sacrifice that goes into the creation of goods. Let's start with eggs. Unless you've seen a hen lay an egg, you won't know the effort that goes into the production of something so common. Hunting and raising your own meat also instills a sense of gratitude for the animals you are consuming. A server at a buffet-style steakhouse once told me that they threw away in the garbage the equivalent of an entire cow in one day. If you make your own clothing, are you ready to toss that garment out for a small tear, or are you going to take the time to repair it? I first started my journey in self-reliance when I became a mom. Having lived in California all my life, I always knew I should be prepared for an earthquake, but I never did anything about it beyond putting it on my mental to-do list. I eventually put a few supplies away, then decided to start a small garden. The yield was enough that I needed to create ways to preserve my harvest, and I started with freezing, but freezers can only hold so much. So I learned other ways, such as dehydrating and canning my herbs, fruits, and vegetables. I learned how to pressure can complete meals, such as soups, stews, and chili. Meals that could be opened and consumed immediately. Many of my friends told me, wow, that is a lot of work. But I found the endeavors to be highly rewarding, particularly in the garden as I tend to it, when my younger children were smiling and seeing the family members' faces when they consumed the bounty from my gardens. We eventually moved from California and moved to a remote location in the mountains of Utah where I learned to hunt. I butchered and processed my game, incorporating what I had learned about canning and food preservations with wild meats. Growing and processing my own game was intimidating at first, to be sure. I recalled one day I was staring at a deer carcass I was about to process, and I had to get this done on my own. And I imagined that I was a frontier woman living on the prairie, and my husband had brought home to me a deer that he had kindly field dressed and skinned for me, but the rest was up to me, and I had to get this done on my own because he was going to go out and do some plowing or do other work. Now, I know this doesn't sound very politically correct these days, but it was a source of inspiration for me to get the job done, and it worked. From growing a highly productive garden in a relatively small space to preserving your own food, raising backyard birds, livestock, learning how to use plants for herbal remedies, I have learned to appreciate the things that make me closer to the earth and things that took me for granted. It has brought me closer to nature, and it has grounded me. What started as a means to have a few meals on hand in the event of an earthquake has become my life's passion. Let me help you learn these frontier ways too.